Hey, the U.S. and the Pacific and the war that we fought there. All right. First off, Japan went on the rampage. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, they basically just said, we're going to go after every foreign thing that is in our area that we can do. They attacked Burma, they attacked China, and then they were like, and let's attack the American islands that they control in the Pacific. The biggest area they beat us in is in the Philippines. There, Douglas MacArthur, he basically he had 80,000 men, lost a good significant portion of them to war, but also they got captured. He had to leave the island where he vowed, I shall be back. The soldiers that were stuck there and were captured by the Japanese suffered through what is known as the Bataan Death March, where they had to hike from the southern end of the Philippines up to the northern end where Bataan's at. And the Japanese were vicious with them. You know, if they fell behind the line, they would get shot. They weren't fed. They were just force march. But that's not the only crime against humanity committed in World War II. But it's something that we need to keep in mind and think about. Now, America decides to strike back. And what we use to strike back, oh, by the way, happy 2021, is we use a lot of air to start with. The first thing we do is Doolittle's raid, where this Air Force pilot, he's basically like, hey, let's go get some big bombers and let's go take it to them. You know, and so they actually bomb Tokyo and just a little bit like, this is America saying howdy, all right? Where the Japanese got stopped was at the Battle of the Coral Sea. Now, where this war turned a point, and I am glossing over some major fighting, but the Battle of Midway, there Admiral Nimitz, along with the Marines, basically started to turn the tide. From here, we started to do island hopping. We'd hop between islands, all right? This is the turning point in the Pacific. We crippled the Japanese fleet there. They still had them, but we significantly reduced the amount they had. Now, as you can see, this is a picture of the aircraft carrier, which greatly changed the war and is still a significant part of our Navy and Air Force today. All right. Now, the island hopping strategy. Basically, you'd have 2 islands. You have 3 islands, right? And if this is Japan and this is an island, no, let's say you have 4 islands. So this is Japan. If we hop to this island, do we have to worry about this island? No, we don't. So by hopping islands, we cut off other islands and just leave them alone. Basically, it's a combination of the navies, the Marines. One aspect, interesting little sidebar, is the Navajo code talkers. A very, very smart person said, we have the Japanese secret code. What code could we use? And they were like, let's use a language where the only people who know how to speak it is in, the 4 corners of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. And just have them create a language so that they could transmit messages back and forth. On the right here, you see some of the different words that I just included. A fighter plane is dahe-tihi, and what it means is a hummingbird. But these guys over here, they realized that if they use that language, they could create basically their own kind of code to keep things moving. Now, the 2 biggest battles, please write these down. One is Iwo Jima, all right? And at the Battle of Iwo Jima, it was bloody and hard fighting, all right? There's a very famous picture of the Marines elevating a flag to it, which I could have included, but then I thought, wait a minute, that's the end of it. That's why I added this picture. As you can see, they tried to land and a lot of them died, which is what war is. Then you have Okinawa. And Okinawa and Iwo Jima, both of these islands are huge in the island hopping idea. The Japanese, they used kamikazes, where they would take planes and they would start to attack the American destroyers, the aircraft carriers, and they just wouldn't stop. They would dive bomb their planes, killing themselves into the aircraft carriers. Now, in this Battle of Okinawa, Americans lost a little under 8,000 people, but Japan lost about 100,000. I forgot a zero there. I apologize. This made us think twice about wanting to attack the Japanese mainland because we could not imagine the amount of casualties. Now, we're going to take a quick look at a map. So this is Midway right over here, Pearl Harbor. We start doing these island hopping campaigns. And the whole point of the island hopping campaigns is that we could get bombers close enough to attack mainland Japan. Once we got Okinawa and once we got Iwo Jima, we were close enough where we could then also drop the nuclear bomb, which Mr. Downing will teach you guys about later on.